Hello, dear hearts. Welcome to Connecting to Consciousness, where the focus is to explore, to question, and examine our perspectives. I'm Nasira Waters. How is your emotional health and well being? The truth of the matter is that in order to go on this journey of curious self discovery, it is crucial that we are intentional about securing our emotional health and well being. And so I'm going to share a few processes and perspectives regarding our emotional health and well being. And when I refer to emotional health and well being, I am referring to our capacity to identify, understand, monitor, and self regulate our emotions and the way that we express our emotions. Before I get started, um, I want to note that these processes, strategies, and perspectives can be useful to all. However, it doesn't refer to those who require medication or ongoing or one to one therapy. Please seek your physician and mental health professionals for that. Um, Now, moving forward, I also would like to ask for you to share the videos if you or anyone you know might benefit from this journey of curious self discovery. So, let's get into it. First, the question is again, how is your emotional health and well being? And with that, I have 4 or 5 things for you to consider. First question: do you engage in outbursts? Do you engage in behaviors that express your emotions in aggressive ways? Do you engage in behaviors that express your emotions through yelling, maybe verbal abuse, or even physical abuse? That's number one. 2, do you shut down when you are feeling your emotions? Do they become so overwhelming that you just shut down and you can't find a way to express them? 3, are you experiencing internal turmoil? There's so much going on that you just cannot process the emotions that you are feeling. 4, are you expressing your emotions in a passive manner? Meaning, are you expressing emotions that are maybe the emotions of someone else that's involved and you're not expressing yours? Or you're just taking in others and you're not really engaged in your own emotions? 5, are you expressing your emotions passive aggressively? Meaning they're coming out, they're being expressed, but not necessarily directly. They're coming out in kind of undercover, some sort of disguise, whether that is intentional or unintentional. These are 5 areas to consider as we go on this journey of curious self discovery. Again, are you engaged in outbursts? Are you shutting down? Are you experiencing inner turmoil? Are you passive when it comes to your emotions, or are you passive aggressive? Whichever category or categories that you may fall into, please note it is a part of the human condition, and those are things that we can work on so that we can show up as the best versions of ourselves. The other thing to note is that we really do not get to make others responsible for how we express our emotions. We don't get to do that. However, the wonderful thing is we do get to be responsible for identifying our emotions, for acknowledging them, managing them, regulating them, and transforming them. And so, as we continue in this process, I have come to understand that we have the capacity to be self aware regarding our emotions and to self regulate our emotions. And so, in doing so, I've also come to understand that our emotions can be learned, whether they're learned through our growing up, what we've experienced as children, or whether they're learned through our relationships as adults. And coming to that understanding, I've come to believe that, and experience and observe actually, that we can unlearn inappropriate expressions of our emotions and we can transform them. So, here are 6 steps to support that process. 1, as I stated, becoming self aware, being able to identify the emotions that we're feeling, being able to reflect on them and be introspective, asking ourselves questions. Why are we experiencing these emotions? Where are they coming from? And even journaling them so that they're in front of you and you can analyze and examine the root cause of the emotions. 2, self-regulate. Regulating our emotions is essential. Coming up with some coping mechanisms that will support us in this process of regulating our emotions and even monitoring them. So we can meditate, we can engage in deep breathing, and even physical exercises. The other thing to consider when we are looking at self-regulating is pausing to control impulses. And one of the things that I invite you to do is to consider the consequences before expressing your emotions. Also, setting boundaries is key, and I have another video right before this one actually that addresses setting boundaries. Number 3, aligning our actions to our values. Doing so allows us to embrace learning and growth. Being able to identify our values is another key component that is actually another video, and I'll link that video and the setting boundaries video in the description section of this video. So, aligning our actions to our values so that when we express our emotions, we express them in healthy ways. 4, showing empathy. Showing empathy allows us to actively listen to others, to be attentive to not only verbal cues but nonverbal cues as well. Being able to understand and being willing to understand others' perspectives and their emotions as well as their experience. 5, welcoming social skills. Engaging in relationships that build trust and mutual respect. We must practice, it's crucial actually for us to practice clear and direct communication with respect. Also, thinking about engaging in resolving conflict, doing that in an empathetic way, showing empathy in a way that conveys mutual beneficial respect for solutions that show mutual benefit to all involved. 6, engage in continual learning and practice, and we can do that by accepting constructive criticism, especially when it comes from those who care about us. Lastly, participate in workshops and seminars and read books on emotional intelligence. Accessing our capacity to engage in our emotional health and well-being is what helps us to maintain our inner peace. Because another reality is that we do not get to show up emotionally bankrupt without being held accountable. I'll say that again. We do not get to show up emotionally bankrupt without being held accountable. So, I invite you, if you are willing to go on this journey of curious self-discovery to ensure your emotional health and well-being, let's take this journey together. Until next time, live consciously.